Who benefits most from Trey Lance starting?
Yeah, this one, a little sneak peek to article I'm gonna write this week. There's plenty of a handful of players you can choose from, which I'm gonna list them. But I think the one who I'm really thinking about, who I thought about it last minute, I think I'm gonna go with Elijah Mitchell, who benefits the most. And I know it's like a running back. Why not a wide receiver? Any of the wide receivers, like a George Kittle, who's that's someone who's suddenly gonna start looking like a great player again. Now he has a player who can throw it to him. But I couldn't help but think about Elijah Mitchell because what happened during those playoff runs? You thought about the Packers game, they couldn't run the ball. Thought about the Rams game, they couldn't run the ball. In other high pivotal games, in high stakes games, pivotal games, when teams really want to bring it to you and everything's on the line, it's running the ball is most likely not going to be as efficient or efficient at all. And that's exactly what happened against the Packers and against the Rams. And you can only think about it. Imagine if you're Elijah Mitchell, man, if I had a quarterback who could strike fear, not even strike fear, just so the defense could somewhat respect, not even just respect, just somewhat respect to suddenly loosen up a little bit on the tight boxes, or at least get them thinking this might be a throw. Because as long as you get a player thinking on defense and they're supposed to be playing on natural instinct, that's good. You're going to get a second hesitation from them depending on what play you call. And with Jimmy Garoppolo, the quarterback, the guy could not throw to save his life. A lot of that game, especially the Rams game, was on him, and they just couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. So if you have Trey Lance out there who can actually threaten deep, who can actually, maybe he's going to play action, bounce it outside, tuck it deep, or run it for himself. Who knows? Defenses are going to have to be a little bit more keep in mind of what's going on versus Garoppolo. We already know where he's going to throw it. Cross the middle. Let him throw it to the sides. He's not throwing it deep. Let's just bottle it up and keep Elijah Mitchell from going. So I feel like Elijah Mitchell is really going to be like, thank you, Trey Lance. I can finally get not as many loaded boxes, maybe more open lanes.
Yeah, he could have 5.5 yards a carry this year. He could have 1,400 yards. I mean, he could go crazy. That's a good call. I got two more people to add to this. Debo. A lot of people say Ayuk, maybe. But
I like
Debo
more too.
But because Debo's the best player on the team, and he's not going to have to play running back anymore or as much. I think he may want certain carries outside the red zone, when it's time to score touchdowns, but he's not going to have to really play running back anymore. And you're going to see the full skill set that he has at wide receiver that couldn't be shown with Jimmy Garoppolo there. You're going to see him catch, because when Trey Lance was there and playing and Kyle would call shots, it was to Debo, not Ayuk.
Texans play.
Yeah, Debo was the one with 4.4 speed. And so I think you're going to see a different, more complete Debo. That'll be big. And then I got one more. Not a player. Kyle Shanahan. This is big. Because Kyle, ever since the Robert Griffin experience, has been all about, just give me a quarterback who executes what I say and gets the ball out on time. And so he's had Kirk Cousins, Matt Ryan, Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think we've seen from Kyle is, he's a very good play caller at times. But, man, he can mess it up at the end of the year in the fourth quarter. And he really would benefit from a quarterback who can extend a play and make something out of nothing, because he hasn't had that in a long time. And he has had some epic failures at the end of seasons. And maybe when it's time for Kyle to choke in the fourth quarter with the 10-point lead in the NFC Championship game or Super Bowl, Trey Lance can be like, you know what, I got you. Because that was Andy Reid's reputation forever, that he good regular season coach, get him in a big game, he'll crumble. And he did a lot. And then he got Patrick Mahomes. And he still crumbles sometimes, but he did win. Yep. He did win that Super Bowl because Kyle didn't have Patrick Mahomes. So I'm thinking Trey's going to really help Kyle. Yeah.
Yep. And that's what they say. Like, get the player who can build off script. And that's something you're going to hope Trey Lance does. Maybe not at first, but again, like you said, that when the game really becomes like crunch time, like a real crunch time, like the same way, like I just said, like when the games are high stakes and the teams are going to overload the box to blow up the run, that's where also, Trey Lance can help Shanahan in the same way. It's like, hey, Kyle, you don't have to always run it all the time, bro. You don't have to be scared. You don't have to be scared of me.
Right.
Put the ball in my hands. I'll take care of you. You take care of me. And if it blows up, I'll figure something out. So that's something, that Kyle Shanahan was definitely on my mind too, someone who away from the players, because now it's like I said, like in the last segment, he doesn't have to feel so
perfect
to mix all these pieces around for the formation just to get the look that he wants. Sometimes he could just do a couple of things and it'll be good.
With Jimmy, he had to be perfect. It's like I got to make sure that Jimmy can get the ball out of his hands in 2.5 seconds. Because if I'm wrong and the guy isn't open and Jimmy has to extend a play, something bad's going to happen. I mean, he'll panic, will panic. The defense will be licking their chops, advantage them. But with Lance, if Kyle isn't perfect on that one call, they don't get the look they want. If Trey reads it incorrectly and he holds the ball for 3, 4, 5 seconds, something good could happen. I mean, the defense could panic. That's whenever I watch Russell Wilson, and I see a lot of Russell Wilson and Trey Lance, he wasn't perfect, but if he had the ball in his hands a long time, that's like the worst thing that could possibly happen for the other team. And you're almost rooting for him to take the quick throw. So I feel like that's going to be a whole new element for this team, for Kyle in particular.
I think that's where the thing that Kyle's just going to benefit for is he's going to finally be able to utilize a quarterback on the move a lot. I mean, Aaron Rodgers with LaFleur, all of a sudden you saw, and that's the same system that LaFleur came from, Shanahan, and that's something they got away from last 2 years, really. So I think
Jimmy nixed it. I think he's like, hey, you want to trade me? You want me to look my best? Let me do what I want to do, which is stand still in the pocket, in the gun, like we did in New England, and just throw a bunch of short passes. That's what he wants to do. It's like, all right, man, but that's not what I want to do. That's not my offense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go be Derek Carr's backup in Vegas if that's what you want to do.
No, your Deebo Samuel one too was that. I think when I had Mitchell number 1, I put Deebo number 2.
Honorary mention.
Now Deebo suddenly it makes it more feasible for the Niners to be like, okay, you want to be exclusive wide receiver? Cool. Because we had to put you wide back because we didn't have a quarterback who could utilize your assets. Suddenly we got Trey Lance here, and we already saw what you could do in that Texans play. It was that one play is all we needed to see. The Seahawks play. They did the Seahawks play too the second half.
Look at how Cooper Kupp's production exploded when he went from playing with Jared Goff to playing with Matthew Stafford. So I mean, we don't know how Trey Lance is going to distribute targets, but if I were him, I would target Deebo even more. Like he got 20% of the targets last year, he should get 25. It's Deebo freaking Samuel. I don't want to curse it because we're going to use some of these in our articles this week. It's Deebo freaking Samuel. What are you doing? Like, stop getting cute, Jimmy. Feed your best player. That's what Stafford did with Kupp. They won a Super Bowl. Deebo is so good that if he gets 25% of the targets this year, in a 17-game season, he could go for 2,000 yards receiving.